Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer brought to you by Forge College. If you're following along in our track, Building dApps on Solana, we are diving right into the Capstone module today, specifically focusing on designing a user-friendly and scalable dApp. We are trading the absolute chaos, and, let's be honest, maybe a few tears of our previous lesson on testnet debugging for the crisp, clean drafting table of a Web3 architect. So grab your technical pens, because today we are exploring how to frame your Capstone objectives. We're going to lay down the master schematic for your next big project.
Here is the game plan for today. We'll be hitting 5 main points. 1. Taming your Capstone chaos. 2. The blueprint and contract. 3. The 5-step workflow. 4. Scoping an NFT marketplace. And 5. Preparing for the next steps. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. Taming Capstone chaos, and specifically, avoiding scope creep. Remember those deployment best practices and those endless testnet debugging sessions you just survived? Well, you made it. But now we're starting fresh, and you know, a blank page can honestly be just as terrifying as a broken smart contract.
When you start a Capstone, you usually have all these brilliant ideas and raw materials gathered from your user tests. But trying to actually build a project without defining the exact boundaries? That is every developer's favorite horror story, scope creep. It's exactly like trying to build a 100-story skyscraper without drawing a blueprint first. You might get the first few floors up, sure, but eventually the whole thing is going to wobble and completely crash.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is this. Establishing a bounded, measurable scope right now prevents you from having to rip out and rewrite complex smart contracts later on. Defining your scope and your measurable success criteria literally shapes the decisions you're going to make about user flows, interface priorities, and your minimal set of on-chain interactions. It's a total game changer.
Moving on to Section 2, the blueprint and contract. Let's talk about the mental model.
To tame this chaos, we're introducing a really powerful architectural framework. Think of your project not as one giant, messy idea, but strictly as 2 separate but linked documents. You want to strictly separate your creative design intent from your hard-coded accountability. First, you have the blueprint. That's all about the experience. Then, you have the contract, which is your reality check. This separation is honestly pure magic, because it takes highly subjective arguments like, hey, should this button be blue? And turns them into testable, concrete decisions.
Let's look a little closer at the blueprint. What is it? Well, it's where you map out exactly what the user will see and interact with. This is where you bring in all those verified UI components and iteration logs you perfected in earlier usability tests. Simply put, it answers the fundamental question: what will the user do?
Meanwhile, the contract is what tells us if that creative blueprint actually worked in the real world. It explicitly defines the technical, business, or user experience limits we are forcing ourselves to accept. It answers 2 big questions. How will we know this is successful, and what limits do we accept? So, if your blueprint calls for live, real-time data feed, your contract is the document that says, okay, sure, but it must load in under 500 milliseconds and state under a strict RPC call budget.
Okay, Section 3, the 5-step workflow for drafting your Capstone scope. You don't have to just guess how to create your blueprint and contract. We actually have a repeatable manufacturing process to build them.
This 5-step workflow takes your raw iteration logs from previous lessons and engineers them into a highly structured, highly testable scope document. The 5 steps are simply ingest, synthesize, prioritize, specify, and validate. Let's break those down real quick. First, you ingest. You gather all your evidence, test notes, logs, everything you've collected. Next, you synthesize by grouping all those dozens of tiny fixes into high-value user journeys. Third, you prioritize. As you'll find across many Forge College learning programs, identifying your minimal viable prototype, or MVP, is essential. You map your journeys into MVP, nice-to-have, or deferred buckets. Fourth, you specify the exact success metrics and constraints for those MVP items. And finally, you validate. Meaning, you sit down with your team and review the contract to ensure every single constraint has a solid mitigation plan.
All right, Section 4, scoping an NFT marketplace. Let's look at a real-world example to make this concrete.
Imagine, after synthesizing our prior testing data, we realize our users were completely dropping off during the wallet connection phase and when filling out complex forms. The evidence tells us our MVP shouldn't focus on hyper-complex, multi-tiered Dutch auctions right now. Instead, we need a simple, low-friction browsing and listing experience for first-time users. That right there is our core, evidence-driven goal.
So how does that high-level goal translate into actual concrete contract terms? Well, for your MVP onboarding, your success criterion might be a 65% or greater completion rate. And the constraint? No complex gasless flows for this iteration. Then, for the MVP create and list journey, your success metric could be getting the time to list under 180 seconds. The constraint to ensure you hit that speed, you must rigidly limit the metadata size.
Now notice how each constraint acts as a highly actionable design rule that directly alters our blueprint. We aren't just broadly saying make it fast. We are saying limit on-chain metadata size by storing the heavy media off-chain with a canonical URI. We avoid complex multisig flows for royalty splits in the MVP, maybe opting to use an off-chain accounting record instead, and we keep our per-user RPC calls low by fetching batch listings and caching them on the client. These constraints absolutely guarantee our prototype will actually function within our time and budget limits.
As part of this scope, we also map the surface-level smart contract interactions. Now hold on, we aren't writing any on-chain code just yet. This is basically identifying where the plumbing connections go before we pour the concrete foundation. For our marketplace, this might just mean noting that we need 3 distinct transactions, one to mint a minimal token record, one to link that token to a listing registry, and one to transfer ownership upon purchase. Keep it surface level for sure, but keep it accurate.
And finally, Section 5, preparing for next steps. Let's gather our deliverables. Before you move on to actually mapping out your detailed user flows, you absolutely must have these specific artifacts documented in your Capstone notes. You need a concise one-paragraph problem statement. You need your tiered, prioritized feature list. You have to have at least 3 measurable success criteria. You need your constraints appendix, complete with how you plan to mitigate them. And finally, you need those surface-level smart contract interaction notes. This entire package is what will keep your designers and engineers perfectly, completely aligned. Having these structural limits locked in right now means you are completely prepared for the next lesson in your track. Next up, we'll translate these exact scope notes into actual interface requirements for on-chain programs, diving right into the nitty-gritty of smart contract interactions. Because you did the hard work of defining the contract today, you absolutely won't be guessing tomorrow.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this question to chew on. Are your Capstone goals built on subjective opinions, or are they strictly bound by an evidence-driven contract? Remember, if it can't be measured, it really shouldn't be in your MVP.
The ink is drying on our master schematic, and it is time for you to start drafting your own blueprint. Thank you so much for exploring this architectural masterclass with me today. I highly encourage you to visit forge.college to learn more about this subject and dive into a wealth of other awesome Web3-related topics. Keep building, keep measuring, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.